This is part 4 of the Dynamic Squares throw. You've made all the pieces, it's time to assemble and do the finishing. Let's go! We are almost to the finish line. All we have to do now is assemble our pieces and then add the border. Take a look and I'm going to show you how you need to assemble. If you take a look at the last page of your pattern, you'll notice that there is a square over here to the left side, and then the larger square over here, or the rectangle over here to the right. This particular little square is a combination of all of the large squares, the little squares, and the rectangles you've already completed. This is the layout you want to use as you sew your pieces together. You're going to have 6 total large squares just like this that are assembled together that you will then join to create this large rectangle, which is the throw. If I pull in what I've created in these lessons, you can see here is my rectangle and here is my small square. And I've already joined these two pieces together. They represent these two sections of the diagram. And the reason I've done that is I'm going to use this to show you how to do the border. So let's go ahead and get started on the border. For the border, what's going to happen essentially is we're going to maintain the pattern of the front post double crochets and the double crochets. And we're going to do that by keeping our corner stitches on the outside corners and then doing double crochet 2 togethers at the seam. So I'm going to use a different color to show you how these stitches work and work you through at least through one seam so you can see how it would work together. I'm going to go ahead and join with the slip stitch into the corner right here, the chain 2 corner. I'm going to join with my slip stitch and I'm going to begin with a chain 3, which counts as a double crochet. So I'm going to go ahead and take my marker just to be consistent and put it into the 3rd chain of that chain 3. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet all in this corner, just like we've been doing all along in all of the corners for each of the pieces. Now I'm going to go ahead and jump in and do a double crochet right here in the first one, a front post in the second, a double crochet in the next, and a front post in the next, which coincides with the post stitches from this rectangle that I'm working into. Whether it was a rectangle or a square, it really doesn't matter as long as it's lining up the post stitches. I would carry on all the way down in this pattern with a front post and then a double crochet, and a front post double crochet and a double crochet until I get to the seam. When I get to the seam, I'm going to do a double crochet 2 together. So let me get to that point now. I just completed my last front post double crochet and I'm going to do a double crochet in the next stitch. Now over this seam, I'm going to do a double crochet 2 together. So to do that, I yarn over my hook, I'm going to go into wherever I can on the rectangle and just create a stitch. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. I'm going to yarn over my hook, come over here to the stitch or the point right on the other side of the seam and put my hook in, yarn over, pull up a loop without splitting my yarn over, draw through 2. So now I have 3 loops on my hook and 2 partial double crochets completed. When I yarn over and draw through all 3 loops on my hook, it joins together those stitches in a way that it looks really good and it just creates one stitch. Now I would carry on and I would do my double crochet into the next stitch over and then go into my pattern of my front post double crochet and then double crochet, front post double crochet, so on and so forth. I'm going to set this down so you can see what it is I've completed, and I'm going to talk you through the next 2 rounds. You can see here we began over here at the corner with our original chain 3, did a double, chain 2, 2 doubles. That is very similar to what we've done on all of the other parts of this pattern, correct? Every corner there are 2 doubles, chain 2, 2 doubles. We continue on doing our double crochets and our front post double crochets all the way down this row to the seam, and then we did our double crochet 2 together. What this is doing is we've established a pattern where we've put doubles on top of doubles and front post double crochets on top of front post double crochets. So on the subsequent rows, we're going to continue on with that pattern. When you come all the way around, you will join with the slip stitch to your marked stitch. You will do a slip stitch into the double crochet, a slip stitch to the chain 2 space. What that's going to do is put your hook in the proper position to again begin that corner. You'll chain 3, double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochets in that corner. Then you'll carry on down this whole row, maintaining the pattern yet again of a double crochet on top of the doubles, a front post double crochet into the front post double crochets. At the seam where you did the double crochet 2 together, you will actually have a front post double crochet at that point because that double crochet 2 together was between 2 regular double crochets. So if we're maintaining that pattern of double, front post double, double, front post double, that's where you will have a front post double around those post stitches. Does that make sense? So you will be able to maintain this entire pattern down that next round, fasten off your color, and it's time to add the final color of your very last round. So you will join that in the chain 2 space, create your corner, maintain your pattern to the next corner, create your corner, so on and so forth. You can really do this. You could be intimidated by the words of the pattern, but when you think through it intuitively, you've done all of these stitches to create all the different aspects of this blanket. So this final border should not add any sort of problem to your plate. You should get along just fine. These are stitches you already know how to do, and you already know how to put them on top of each other. Once this border is complete, you have an afghan that everybody in your family is going to ask you to make them, and you can say, woohoo, it's a free pattern over at redheart.com, and I learned with Marley Bird. You're all done. Now you know how to make the dynamic squares throw. Everybody in your family is going to want to make one. Thank you so much for joining me along this journey and making this wonderful throw. I hope to see you again. I'm Marley Bird, proud spokesperson for Red Heart Yarns.